You're on, Simon.
Hello, everybody. I'm Simon-Fisher Becker, and here we are with the legend of the Traveling TARDIS. Yes.
My name is Christian Basil. Years ago, I had an idea. I got myself a TARDIS. Took it to new places, met a lot of new people, took some great pictures, and talked Doctor Who. From Krypton Radio and the creators of the Hanging With web show, this is the legend of the Traveling TARDIS. Join me on my latest adventures and become part of the legend.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Legend of the Traveling TARDIS. Happy New Year. Thank you for joining us wherever you are. If you're watching us on the YouTube channel, if you're watching us on our Facebook page, on Twitch, on Twitter, wherever, thank you. And thank you for joining us. We're hoping you're staying safe out there. It's been one crazy entry into 2022, but I'm trying to stay safe out there. And we just had our first convention with Central Florida Comic Con, and we really were excited about everything. Unfortunately, I could not make it. But Jessica will be out there, and we'll be talking about the convention that's coming up this weekend, which is VillaCon, and we'll go into more discussion with that. But today we have a special guest. Now, when I say special guest, he's been on our show, and he is part of our team. But today, he gets to go into the hosting seat today. I'm talking about our good friend, Simon-Fisher Becker. So let me go ahead and introduce the team and our special guest today, who we will be... Oh. Oh, you gotta... Oh, because they've chosen to mute themselves. There we go.
Before you did the thing, so
we wanted to surprise you.
No, but whatever. Don't forget
you
to
don't hear from us. You're just hear from him, not us.
You understand? I was trying to turn their microphones on, and there was a little thing that came up. Your system cannot unmute them because the people on the other side will not remove their mute button. I'm like, oh, I'm like, what's going on here? I'm always like, this is starting for today. Everybody on the YouTube channel, please subscribe. As you can see on the bottom, please like our show, subscribe. We've hit, and the number keeps fluctuating a little bit over there. We've hit 1,701 subscribers, which if we were Star Trek, this would be a great number, but we're Doctor Who, and we were happy with all 1,701 of you, but please make sure to keep subscribing. We're trying to hit 2K before the end of this month because we will have been on YouTube for almost 1 year at the end of January. So that will be, we've been doing podcasts for almost 3 years, but this is what we are going to be doing. Don't forget to be in your chats out there. We're going to say hello to everybody. We saw something about a comfy chair earlier. Guys are getting their comfy chairs out there. Hey, Dan. Hey, Tom out there. And welcome. No way, Jose. I don't know what they're talking about, but okay. What they're out there. Oh, okay. And, Tom's a little bitter about the price tag for Jody over at London Con. And I might get into that a little bit out there. We'll maybe we may have a discussion out there. Tom, maybe Dollar Tree is saving up to go see Jody. Yeah. Dollar Trees now are no longer Dollar Trees. They're $1.25 now. Because of everything that's going on in the world, they are now $1.25, and I don't know how to take it, Mackenzie, because it's just like it's only a quarter, but it's a quarter, and that quarter adds up quick when you've got like 4 items, and now it's now what used to be $1 is now $2 there. I like the cat and babes background.
Yep, different space than usual, but Petrie is still hanging around when he wants to be.
Nice, Steve. Speaking of hanging around, let's go ahead and get to our guests today, our guest panelists today. First off, the lovely Mackenzie Floor of the Right of Ones. How you doing, Mackenzie? It's been a while since we've had you on, hasn't it?
It's been a while, yeah.
At least
well, this is my new office, everybody. This is my new writing room. Yeah.
It's nice and shiny. Is that-
It's very nice and shiny. Yeah. So the light above me is a little too shiny, but
Oh,
that
okay.
that could be fixed.
There you go. Well, I love the new office out there. So, what's your favorite part about your new office now?
Ooh, I would have to say it's probably this new PC computer. This thing is the
Oh.
same. It's the same one that for those who are into the streaming stuff. This is the same computer that people like Tim the Tatman, Courage, Dr. Lupo have. So this thing has lots of bells and whistles.
Oh, okay. So you got some more stuff going on over there. Excellent.
Oh yeah. We're going to be doing a lot more videos, a lot more screenwriting. I got 2 screenplays I'm working on right now. I got the new binge watcher I got from the publisher has given me the go ahead to write the new book for the binge watcher guide. So yeah, it's going to be very exciting.
And you might see
Now, is
more
this
about-
is this part 2 of Jody, or is this a third one now?
It's part 2 and 3. We're going to put those together as one manuscript, and then there's a couple things that I'm still kind of like, how am I going to handle this? Because I don't want the way that I wrote the first one is I want to continue doing that with the second, third, where it's not spoilery. So I don't want to put Dan in the front where people are like, well, who's that? So, but I'm excited though.
Put Simon on front. Doesn't matter if it wasn't there. Just put Simon on front.
I put a front and center. Speaking of front and center, our other guest today, our guest panelist, is the lovely Dave Chapman. How you doing for the rathole.ca? Check him out.
Hello.
Hello. It's the rathole.ca/who, right? If you want
all of my Doctor Who gaming reviews in one place, the rathole.ca/who, yes. The link tree address that you've got right here takes you to all of my different social medias, my YouTube channel, everything. I don't know if I currently have a shortcut to the Doctor Who stuff. Wait, I can look because I've actually got it in another window. I do not. I'll put that back up. And I'll put up in a few moments that link straight to all the Doctor Who games as well. Awesome. And there's going to be a couple more coming very soon. I'm working on another RPG source book, and I've got a couple more reviews coming, specifically Doctor Who reviews. I've always got reviews coming, but soon.
Awesome down there. Just want to let people know that you go ahead and come into our chats out there. Let's say hello to more people. Tom Cossack says, Mackenzie, I have your book sitting in my pile of books, but I do. Okay, there you go. So we got some stuff over there. And speaking of books, I got a cat sleeping in my lap.
Yeah, she's sleeping right below me. Yeah,
I give her 5 seconds before she starts going completely mad. Oh, Dave's poking her. I'm gonna try to wake her up out there.
Cat's farther over there. I got my laptop here, and
Tom is now our official hashtag. So he's bringing up any hashtags for the show now. And no, this episode's not gonna be cat butt, Tom. I don't want to be cat butt. No. Special for Simon today out there. Yeah, the Dollar Tree's going up out there. So let's say, and then we want a special hello, Gretchen Gear. How you doing? Thank you for joining us. I think this is Gretchen's first time. Christina, lovely Christina, go check out on her Instagram out there. Christina, if you put your Instagram link in there, I will post it out front out there. Mr. Jonathan Tibbs, hello everybody. But let's say, and Dan Holyfield from the Last Man Standing podcast. Simon's in the next hour to get ready to us. Speaking of which, let's go ahead and bring our honored guest up here today. He's written 2 books. Let me bring that over here. And we will be discussing all 3 of them. But more importantly, the one that has just been recently released. If you've seen his books, My Dalek Has a Puncture. The sequel to that, My Dalek Has Another Puncture. And the most recent book out there, which I'm happy to say, let's get this up. Oh yeah, I have a copy of it as well.
Yay.
It's a signed copy as well. I love it out
here.
I'm
so jealous.
Zygons Be Zygons, which is the 3rd book in the trilogy. Oh, that's better. I didn't want to see my head anyways. The third in the trilogy. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome our special guest and guest panelist. And we are wonderfully happy that he is part of the Legend of the Traveling TARDIS team, Mr. Simon-Fisher Becker. I know you're up late, Simon. How you doing there? Thank you for joining us today.
Boo. You know, it's 11 o'clock at night this end. But apart from that, everything is absolutely fine.
Cossack. I got it right. I'm sorry, Tom. I'm sorry. I keep getting it wrong out there. And as I promised, Christina, there you go. Instagram.com/DJ Janie, I believe JAINA there. But Simon, thank you. First of all, I appreciate you everything you do when you come out and help us with celebrity guests interviews, especially recently where we had Sadie Miller. How did you have a good time with that one? Because we had a lot of Big Finish people.
It was lovely to actually put a face to the voice, really. Yeah, so because I hadn't met her personally up until we had the conversation a few weeks ago, but yeah, it was good fun, and I always like meeting people who've done Big Finish because it is always such a special thing to do.
Yeah, exactly. And here's the thing, I keep forgetting this. A lot of the times, especially now post-COVID world, most of you are not even meeting face to face, and the studios are really tiny. So
yeah, I mean, it's a shame because the old studios were brilliant and the catering superb, and it was rather nice being in studios locked in little tiny booths, but we could at least see each other.
Right.
But now we're having to do it externally. We don't see anybody at all, but it is recorded live. So I had a weird setup here. I was sitting in Tony's music room, where he's the best recording facilities. He acted as my engineer, and we were linked live to everybody else. And it was very strange to get direction in one ear and something else coming in another ear, and then having to talk at the same time. Very weird, but really good fun. And it just goes to show that with today's technology, a lot of problems can be solved quite easily.
I got you there. And Christina is correct. Simon is a legend around these parts. Big heart to you. There you go. And I don't know why I want to read this. Gretchen said, you said cat, but my cat turned around to show you her. Which happens a lot on this show, especially with Melanie, Mackenzie, and Dave there. So, Simon, tell us about I'm trying to find a good place to start because I want people who may have never heard of the books to get an idea of, if you want to start, let's start from the beginning.
So we should start at the very beginning. Yes, right.
I guess the question is, where did you start your passion to start writing? Where did you just go? I'm going to write.
It's very straightforward. As you know, there are panels at conventions, and a couple of times in the States, I turned up. I was the only one to be interviewed, but the interviewer didn't materialize, so I was sort of pushed on and told, well, just deal it with yourself. So, which initially it was a bit of a shock, but it happened twice on the trot. So I decided from then on that I would put together a PowerPoint presentation. And so for me, the PowerPoint was the interviewer. Every time I flicked to a new slide, that reminded me what more I could talk about. And this gradually turned into a show. And I called it My Dalek Has a Puncture. Because I was at another convention where there was a competition with Daleks, and there was a young girl crying in the corner. And when I asked her what the problem was, she said, "My Dalek's got a puncture," which meant she couldn't enter the competition, which was very sad. But a little light bulb went on.
Yeah,
I think that's what I'll call my show. And so in my show, I answer a lot of questions that people regularly ask me, but also I give autobiographical anecdotes and also little tips of how or how I got over certain hiccups or bumps in the road. And gradually I found, particularly when I was on tour, that after the show, I would be in the bar and I'd do another 40 or 50 minutes because people would come up to me and say, when you said ... I've got a similar story. And then they recount their story.
Oh, wow.
So that was by good fortune, a publisher called Dan Grubb from Fantastic Books Publishing came to my show one wet Wednesday evening and said I should put it in book form. And he sort of wrote a contract on the back of the program. So of course, the idea of me being a published author would make my English teacher spin in her grave. So, but of course, you see, I always grab an opportunity. And to be honest, the first book in particular was very cathartic. And in some ways, people think I have a charmed life, and I would go along with that. Certain things have happened which can only be considered magical. Mm-hmm. But I also, like everybody else, have had to deal with bullying, insults, people accusing me of things which I hadn't done, and all sorts of things. And the reason I initially started walking with a stick is because I was attacked. Right. I was attacked by some thugs who were spouting out the mantra at the time was fat people are going to bankrupt the NHS. So because of that, I got a kicking. And as a result, I have a damaged spine and a damaged knee. And that is why I walk with a stick. And then since then, other things have come to the fore. But so I thought, well, I'll tell this story because people had been asking if I'd got an autobiography. And so that's how it started, really. That's how the idea came. And then so the first book, my Dalek Has a Puncture, is really my life story up to the point that I was offered Dorium Maldovar at Doctor Who. Mm-hmm. And then another puncture is how things changed once I'd appeared in Doctor Who. And then Let Zygons Be Zygons is really, I've become a sort of agony uncle. I get lots of people writing to me and saying, I've got this problem and that problem. Have you any idea? Can you help me? Well, I never give advice. I never tell people what to do. I say what I might do if I were in the same situation. Mm-hmm. And if I know something, I'll let them, if I know where to go, for example, I can sort of send them an address or a telephone number, things like that. And I had some extraordinary stories come back, which were very similar to things that I experienced. And the main thing I'm able to say to people now is just communicate with people as often as you can, mm-hmm. because you'll find somewhere along the line that they've had a similar experience to you. Because very often people think that what's happening to them is only happening to them. And so you get this, what's wrong with me? Why is this happening? Whereas in fact, 9 times out of 10, it happens a lot to a lot of people. And the question is why? And so that's what I've approached some of those anecdotes in Let Zygons Be Zygons, just to let people know, just to highlight in writing, that they're not the only one. If they're reading something, they're not the only one that it happens to. And also, there's also thoughts on things that we allow ourselves to get hooked up on. Mm. I have a comment about astrology. Okay. And there's a chapter about Ophiuchus, which is the 13th sign in the zodiac. And of course, a lot of people don't know what I'm talking about now. So
I think I'm still a Leo. That's all I know.
You'll read my book and you'll find out. Yes,
I think I'm still a Leo at this point. So I don't know. I gotta check.
So that's when I deliver when I do the shows, I try and make it as light-hearted as possible. Mm-hmm. But of course, some of the topics are quite dark.
Right. You want a good mixture. You want to keep the people, for a better term, entertained. But you kind of put in an education point in there, and there is a moral and there's a moral approach to this.
And there was a very serious situation that arose when when I was doing conventions that got me and my booker into all sorts of trouble. We got cyber bullied, nasty letters, nasty phone calls. It was quite a challenging time, and yet legally I can't name who they are,
Right.
but legally they can make the accusations. Seems a bit strange. There's something a bit screwy there. So one of my chapters is a right of reply, as nobody will allow me to say my piece. I've said it. It's in the book. And there were a lot of other things in the book, which my publishers were a bit nervous about. So it's not as thick as I would have liked the book to have been, shall we say.
Well, I meant for people who it's light reading.
It's definitely, I refer to it as a stocking filler. All three of them. I'm not expecting people to treat them as mighty tomes, to have in their university library, but a bit of light. It's a bit of light reading with, I hope, some humorous tales, but also some anecdotes and things. And my main message to everybody is don't take on board everything you're told. Just think for yourself. Because the danger, especially in the political times now, is the powers that be don't want you to think. They just want you to do what they tell them. And I'm not saying be aggressive or too much of a radical, but if somebody is telling you something as a fact, just listen to what they're saying, and just think to yourself, well, is that possible? Because life is very strange. Because a thing that came to me today, somebody wrote to me because they're trying to order in. I don't know what you call them in the States, but we call them rapid flow tests for COVID, right? And apparently there's a policy that it's only one pack per address. And they live in a block of flats or apartments, as you might say.
Oh.
And they're saying to me that they weren't allowed to have more than one pack for that address. And of course I'm saying, no, that can't be real at all. So I've got to look into that. So I partly mentioned this, hoping that somebody will come back to me and say, yes, it's true. Which if it is so bizarre.
Apparently there is something going like that now. And I was actually given information. Yeah. And I brought it to the team so they could. And then I believe it was Nisha and our team going like, yeah, it's one per household. But they didn't factor in apartments are not considered a household. Apartments are separate floors out there. So it's so
you see, to me, that's a classic example of somebody coming up with an idea. And because they don't live in a flat or an apartment, they might live in a house. It doesn't cross their mind. Oh, we made this bit of legislation, but how does that affect? I mean, it could be 1,000 people in a huge block, couldn't it?
Hold that thought, Simon. I'm going to go ahead to a commercial break. When we return, we're going to have a discussion with our esteemed guest, Simon-Fisher Becker, who is the author of his third book, Let Zygons Be Zygons. When we return, please continue to stay logged on, tuned in, and become part of the legend. Here we go.
Jackie Sonnenberg's My Soul to Keep is a ghost story rooted in the realities of actual cults. When 13-year-old Sky Monroe arrives at her new boarding school, all she can think about is death and connecting with the afterlife. Soon she discovers her school's spirituality group, the Guardians of Light, and they have a secret. They can speak with the dead, and the organization is a cult. But this isn't Sky's only problem. The campus house where Sky resides is haunted, and even the ghosts have an agenda. They intend on getting the souls they want. Filled with mystery and intrigue plucked straight from the headlines, author Jackie Sonnenberg's research and attention to detail give this ghost story an even more eerie atmosphere. Find My Soul to Keep on Amazon.com today.
Oh, brilliant! It's hard to believe that in the 56-year history of the greatest sci-fi television show in the English language, there has never been a fan guide to Doctor Who. The official books might give you what they think you need to know, but only a guide written by a true fan will give you what you really want to know. Join Whovian, the brilliant Mackenzie as she takes you on an intensive journey inside the world of the first female Doctor. In the Binge Watcher's Guide to Doctor Who, Season 11. Right, let's get a shift on.
You know, Mackenzie, Wendy's voice is really, really scary to listen to because she's really spot on. Speaking of spot on, if you're watching us on the YouTube channel, on the Facebook page, don't forget to subscribe on either one. Thank our friends over at Ragin.
Hey there, this is Meredith Loughran with Ragin, and I wanted to let you know that we encourage and promote independent creators and their projects through organic interaction, consultations, and more. Visit Nita and me at RaginAVC.com for details and contact information. Hit the button.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Legend Traveling TARDIS. My name is Christian Basil. I'm here with our special panelist guest, Dave, Mackenzie, and our wonderfully lovely special guest, Mr. Simon-Fisher Becker himself, who's written his third book, Let Zygons Be Zygons. We're taking your questions, and I believe said, let me find Mark there. Oh, we want to say hello to you. Everybody, if you're in the chats, please chat out. We're going to say hello as well. Matt, thank you for joining us out there.
Two up from that.
Got it. Okay, so sorry, Mark. I was looking for your question for Simon. Here's one of the questions there. Do you have books in audio format? I know the answer.
Yes, they are. Let Zygons will be recording within the next couple of weeks, so that'll be ready soon. But yes, there are audio versions which you can get from Fantastic Books Publishing.
Awesome. But you definitely get it. Let me see if we can find it.
And can they get it on Audible and or Amazon?
That's actually what I'm pulling up right now. Let me see if I can find that so people can see the page for themselves.
I had a bit of problem with Amazon when the book was first. Well, when it was first published,
I did too.
Yeah, when it was first published, they misspelt Let Zygons Be Zygons.
Are you serious?
Instead of LET, it was LEY.
Oh, good.
So I had a lot of people saying they couldn't get it, and I couldn't understand. But I think that's now all sorted.
It looks like if you have Kindle Unlimited, it looks like it's only $5 to buy for free. I can't tell over there, but get the paperback. It's only for a Kindle price, it's only $6, and for the paperback, it's only $14 plus, of course, shipping and whatever, unless you have some kind of special deal going on with Amazon. I think Amazon Prime, free shipping or whatnot. But
I also offer signed copies. So if people want signed copies, if they contact me either by my Facebook page or via Facebook or via my website, FisherBecker.info, of course there'll be a shipping cost.
No, that's fine.
But I'd be more than happy to send over signed copies.
Yay, because that was going to be my question. I'm like, how do I get some signed ones? Because I got a nice.
That is a good question. Where would you get signed copies, Simon? Where could they get signed copies from?
Where can they get the signed copies from?
Yes.
They can get them from me. So if they contact me via Facebook or via my website, which is FisherBecker.info, I can then communicate with them. And,
awesome.
And if they use PayPal, that's even quicker.
And I just want to show people. Let me increase my screen there because you get it from Simon directly. I got my signed copy
There you go.
There we
26th
go.
of December. Oh, good Lord, I was doing that on Boxing Day.
You know how shipping is these days to get over
Yeah.
here. So it took.
Yes,
I got it.
and I can only apologise for the cost of shipping, but that's what it is internationally now.
No, that's fine. I absolutely there is a little bit of price to shipping, but you know what, totally worth it. Or get it on your Kindle if you just want to listen to it, or if you don't mind, if you want to wait a little bit, Simon will have the audiobook. I know you have audios for both Zygon books, right?
I have audios for Dalek Puncture and Another Puncture.
Dalek Puncture, but not Zygons.
Zygons will be ready and available, hopefully.
I definitely see the audiobooks on the iBook store.
Yeah.
Oddly enough, I don't see a digital version of the main book there, but the audio versions are definitely up on the iTunes iBook store.
Right.
I assume everywhere else as well.
Yeah, the Zygons audio will be available hopefully in February.
Gotcha. Now I have a question, Simon, and I don't want to bring back. You can answer or not answer on this one. What happened to the people who attacked you? I'm sure people were curious about that.
Well, once I got myself sorted out, I went back to. It happened at a gas station,
right?
And I went back to get the CCTV to find the camera wasn't attached to anything, so it was just painted on.
Jeez.
So there was none of that at all, and so I thought, oh well, there we go. I just had to put up with it. It was only a few years later that I found out I could have got some compensation from some victims fund, but by the time I got into it, it was time sensitive, these things, so it was too late. So, but. I don't know. I always say look for a silver lining, and the silver lining is I was still recovering. It happened in March 2009, and so I was still recovering really from the attack at Christmas. So I wasn't in Panto or doing a Christmas show in 2009.
Oh, God.
But that meant I was available for the audition for Doctor Who. So there is a part of me that wants to meet these thugs and shake their hand and say thank you very much before I stick a pitchfork in their eye. But because one of the side effects that's come out is that I suffer from osteoarthritis, which at times can be very painful, and I just commented about this pain. After I had my attack, anyway, they did their scans and whatever, and apparently I've had it for 30 years, and I said I can't be right. I've had no pain at all. So my doctor said that he thinks it's just the shock of the attack stimulated something. So now I've got the pain, and it is quite painful. What with that, the knee because my knee landed on the step of a petrol pump. So that's damaged, and my spine hurts. I find it difficult to turn and twist. So when I'm having a bad day, then I do sort of start sticking pins in dolls. But generally speaking, I can tolerate. It's like a dull hum of a pain. It's constant. I'm never not in pain. But generally speaking, it's like and anybody who's in a similar situation will understand what I'm saying. You can tolerate it and you can get on with your life, but some days it's worse than others. And I can't work out why, because sometimes I think, oh, is it because it's cold today, or is it hot today? There's no, or it's been raining, but it's just the way it is. But I have various forms of pain relief, which lasts a few hours. And if it gets really bad, I just take some other form. But I don't want to sort of get addicted to anything. So that's in the back of my mind as well. But I'm coping with it. It's absolutely fine. But I do now sort of travel around on a mobility scooter, for those who've seen me. And I have a little hoist at the back of my car so I can take the scooter with me. So I do have my independence. I do also have Tony, of course, my husband, who supports me tremendously, but I can get on with things. The problem I'm beginning to face is people see me on my scooter and just assume my brain has died with my legs. Do you know what I mean? And so getting past that challenge, people think you can't do anything, has been a challenge. But I'm getting around that. And of course, then COVID came along, and oh dear, it's been quite an extraordinary 2 years, really. But I hope I'm not wittering on too much now. So,
no.
To answer your question, I'm happy to talk about the situation. And after all, it was a major event in my life.
Right.
But Doctor Who was even more important. So many things have happened since Doctor Who that I can't. All I can think of saying is the Fates didn't have to send 3 thugs. They could have just told me that no producer wanted me to be in Panto that year.
Right.
You know?
Right. I'd rather get the message the other way. We're just putting this out over here for everybody, and especially for our friends who are listening on podcasts, listening to our audio, or to sign copies from the books for Simon directly at FisherBecker.info.
Yeah, it's my website, so it's just FisherBecker.info. Yeah, and, without the hyphen.
Without the hyphen, and just make sure you can get a signed copy from Simon if you want to. And Mark chimes in and says, "Hugs, total respect for you, Simon. Suffering PTSD from the attack." I would even say, in a mental state, what did that attack do to you? I mean, because I would think like going back to that gas station would probably throw you off just a little bit.
I will admit it was very funny because I've been doing this we've been doing this documentary, and I am retracking some of my things that happened to me in life, and even going to the petrol station, which has been rebuilt, but just being in the same airspace, I couldn't get that section over and done with quick enough.
Right.
Yeah, though there was that, and afterwards, whilst I was still in the area, I never went back to that station. I went to another station when I needed filling up. It was tremendous, and there was this total nonsense. And then people say I get defensive when I sort of fight back at them. You know, it is total nonsense to suggest that large people are going to be more of a what's the phrase there? Burden for the health system than anybody else. You know, they use the phrase, well, it is more likely that you might. This is a phrase, you might, you may. I just want to slap people purple when they start to legislate using those words. You can't do this because you might. So the late, I don't know if you've heard it over here.
I know some people, and myself, I'm a little bit on the side, the COVID calories that set in, but I would also argue that people who are a little bit on the heftier side are probably the hardest working people I know.
Yes.
They work harder than anybody else, and it just happens, for whatever reason, whatever, their tummies are a little bigger.
I know from my side of things, particularly when I got quote proper jobs, I worked harder because there's subconsciously there was this thing, they'll just assume I can't do it, or because there are people even today. I mean, there's the Equalities Act that says you can't discriminate on assumptions or associations.
Right.
And there was some bint on some television program wittering on saying she would never employ a large person. Because they clearly have. She made all sorts of excuses. If they can't look after themselves, how can they do their job properly? And who's to say that being large is bad? That's the thing that really does get my goat.
Stature should not be anything that judges character. And like I said, I've met people who, probably that stereotype where they look in the heavy set, they've got to be lazy, or you know, I'm
That's
like
it.
they're busting
They're
their
lazy,
bubble.
they're non-productive.
They're very productive, and
Yeah.
I'm kind of hefty, and I'm just like I work, I go to conventions, I run this podcast, and
Yes.
people are like, Jesus, what you know, just like, and a
Yes.
commercial break. I have back Keith Covington. I have back issues myself. I have TENS and a heating pad to help with the pain there. I don't know what TENS is, Keith. I'm sorry. If
Yes,
knows.
it is some sort of muscular thing, I think.
Oh.
You can tell me if I'm wrong. But yes, there's all sorts of things. I personally, at the moment, is ibuprofen gels.
Mm-hmm.
Deep heat, very good. Right, deep heat is very good, but extremely smelly. you know I've applied it. Right?
I know that smell all too well.
Deep freeze is equally good, but it's more sticky. A thing I use, but have difficulty getting, is Devil's Claw gel. Mm-hmm. There are pill versions of it, but they don't agree with me. And I've spoken to several other people, and the pill version seems to be an irritant for a lot of people. So that's why they prefer the gel. Right. And I think that's part of the reason they run out of stock. But it's very good indeed, very good. And of course, people think, oh, Devil's Claw, is that a bit herby? And so they start thinking you're using alternative medicines. I say whatever works. It doesn't matter what it is.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Pete says peppermint oil works wonders, and I even go as far as Tiger Balm.
Yeah, and so it's all that. I have been offered injections of something, but I don't want to go down that route yet until I absolutely have to. Gotcha. I was also told.
So I'm going to absolutely have to do this. We're going to commercial break. When we return, we're going to continue our discussion with Simon about his new book, Zygons. Let Zygons be Zygons. We return. Please continue to stay logged on, tuned in, and hit the commercial.
This is Cosplay Michael with the Hanging Out Club Show. I want to tell you about my friends at Embellis Effects in Orlando, Florida. They've got makeup, costumes, and props for all of your costume needs. And the team at Embellis Effects is helpful and friendly. Embellis Effects is one of my favorite places, and I know it will be yours too. I'll see you there. Or go to embelliseffects.com. And remember, cosplay is for everyone.
Author Cindy Kep is writing on the edge. Books include Remnant in the Stars, The Loudest Actions, Lines of Succession, Mindstorm, Condemned Courier, the Yerushalayim series, and Animal Eye. Find author Cindy Kep at CKOEPP.com today.
Welcome back to the Legend of the Traveling TARDIS. My name is Christian Basil, and I wanted to squeeze in some time. Was there anything else you wanted to mention about Zygons Be Zygons? Because I also want to talk about your husband's album. Okay. Which is going to go out there. How long have you known Tony, by the way?
30 years. Yeah, 1990, October 91 was when we had our first date.
1991. And when did you guys officially get married?
It depends how you look at it. We went into a civil partnership in April 2006, and everybody kept on telling us it wasn't a proper marriage. But then we went for the upgrade to a marriage in 2015 to find when we signed the certificates, they were backdated to the date of our civil partnership.
Wow.
So upgrade to marriage?
Yeah. So yes. Wow. Tony called it 2.0. But it was very silly. So Tony joked that we were in a quantum marriage, because we weren't married, but now we were. Yeah.
I'm thinking of those little memes that I see that my single friends who are women out there, they put out the Valentine's joke. It said $30 for a kiss, $40 for a hug, $50 for dinner, and all that stuff. So I was just like, here's the upgrade. But let me show everybody your wonderful husband of 30 years knowing each other. I just feel bad because he's a little
red
in this picture.
No, he's deliberately done that, but that's Tony. I'm his toy boy because he's older than me.
Okay.
So
that is an interesting way of bringing him on there.
Yeah, but so I didn't catch that. What did you say?
Oh no! I was just mentioning. I was just giggling out there. That was an interesting comment that you made about your hubby, Toy Boy.
Yeah.
You're his toy boy.
Yeah,
I'm getting too much in here. Let me go back to the comments out there, Mark.
Sorry, I get into all sorts of trouble because I just say things and then I find that I'm not allowed to say things because it might upset someone. Yeah.
One of the things about this show, and I hope that everybody respects, and I think you appreciate there, Simon, all the comments that we say here, no matter if we agree or disagree, we are loving each other. You know how we do the reviews and stuff, how we approach things. You know, we say it and we say it with love out there. Mark says, growing up in Essex, had fair share of random stranger and group of strangers just attacking me. Even once I almost got carjacked. So I understand how you feel. I am so sorry, Mark. I am so sorry out there, brother.
It is. I mean, but because the irony for me is that when I was a kid, when I first went to school, I was a skinny runt. And I wasn't quite asthmatic, but I did have difficulties with breathing at times. And so I was beaten up and picked on because I was a skinny runt. And then I grew inside, in size, and I got picked on because I'm big. But it used to worry me, and I get defensive for those who I hear are in a similar situation because I know what it's like, and I'm just hope my books can help them.
I understand. And Janine says, 30 years, amazing. No one stays together that long, especially in the entertainment industry. That's an entire 100-year lifetime. That's cat years there.
I'm very lucky. I appreciate that. I'm very lucky. And Tony, being in the music industry, as a big word, and has had experience of, he understands how it all works. And to be honest, is that Jonathan Tibbs?
Yes,
hello, Jonathan Tibbs. Yes.
He says the large people work harder to prove they can do things not only to others but to themselves. See, I've always been a big kid, but I fought my mother's Filipino cooking, and if you ever understand what lumpia is, you will be you will gain weight just on lumpia. That's food of the gods.
It's very interesting because it was a couple of years ago now that I was talking to a doctor I have now because I've moved now. And she explained to me a lot of my problems are genetic. So there's not much I could do about it. So, and of course, I sort of, so all this nonsense I've been dealing with people telling me you should do this, you should do that. I had no, so she said at a certain level, it is palliative, and then she did follow it up. You could, she said, you could eat less pies, fewer pies, she said. And so I then turned on her. I said, yes, the assumption is that I sit on the sofa all day, watching television, not doing any exercise, chain eating Mars bars and Snickers and donuts, which couldn't be further from the truth.
We call it Halloween.
I will admit that my vice is ice cream.
No, that's fine.
I will confess to that.
Keith, a little sweet and sour sauce. If you find the right sweet and sour sauce with lumpia, yes, it's food of the gods. You could live off of that forever. If you know how you've seen those memes where they go like, you can only live off of one food. Yeah, lumpia would be that food. Yeah, and Janine, I agree with you. Yeah, damn you food for being so delicious out there. There you go.
Yes, I just saw damn you food for being so delicious.
Damn you food for being so delicious out there.
But it's interesting because my diabetes, I'm borderline diabetes, and and I do daily tests for my blood sugars.
Oh, wow.
And I'm well within the parameters. So, and I very rarely go over. But there we go.
Those are delicious. You can only have one.
Yes.
And by one, I mean one in your lifetime. You have 2 deep fried Mars bars, exactly. You'll just die. They're delicious.
I'll have to try sometime because I've actually never tried it before.
I swear, if they probably put a label on that, you go to a restaurant and now they put the calories on there. I swear to God, that's probably in 6 digits. It's like 100,000 calories. But yeah, so
Easily.
it's easily out there. I have many Pinay friends. I do love it. Oh, okay. Yes, and yeah,
yes,
my
Emma,
mother
you were
makes some
asking
other
about
stuff.
Tony.
Yes, I did. Yes, let's bring him back.
We've known each other. Yes, we've known each other for 30 years. We've been officially married now since 2006, but we've ended up with 3 anniversaries. So we have on the 8th of October is the anniversary when we had our first date. The 8th of April is when we went into civil partnership, and the 23rd of January, which I think is this Sunday, it will be our 7th year of doing the upgrade, but the upgrade was backdated. So
now tell us about his music and What If.
Yes, What If is a selection of 14 very different tracks, and he has a steampunk element to it, hence the image on his front cover of the CVD, and some sci-fi elements to some of the songs, and it's a whole mixture and range, and it would fall into sort of fantasy rock, I would say.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and he recorded it all in his studio. He's done all the voices, including the harmonies. So it's very interesting, and they can get it from Bandcamp. So it's bandcamp.com/Anthony Wilson Dugdale.
Let me see if I can find that so I can pull up the page.
It's only £7. I don't know what that is in dollars. Is that $10?
That's $100 here. Maybe a lot more there, Doug. Dale, I gotta get the back right.
But it's very good, and there's one song on there that I actually contribute to, and it's called "Messages from Another World."
Ooh. I was about to say, what's your favorite song on there? Is that the one that you contributed to, or do you have a song?
Naturally, I will say "Messages from the Other World" because I'm in it.
Oh, okay.
But I like them all, and they're all very, very different.
There you go. That's what the page looks like. If you go
That's
over
what the page
to,
looks like. Yes.
There you go. Let me copy and paste, and I will put this in the chat for everybody. $15 plus $50 shipping and handling. Yeah, that's the States way. Oh, hey James, how you doing there? Where's James?
But it's a download, so there shouldn't be any shipping, should there?
They probably they offer physical copies too, but yes, you can get the digital version.
Yeah,
gotcha.
Yeah, it's about $10 according to my calculations here. But of course, it says £7.
£7. Yeah.
Sterling. It comes out at $9.52 in the States.
And guys, what my favorite thing is, I'm going to run through the commercials real fast out there, but let me go ahead and jump the commercials. I just got 2, and then we'll be right back. We're going to wrap up our episode here with Simon-Fisher Becker. Stand by. Hang on. And I swear to God, we are going to be playing that game this year. I'm just saying it's been delayed a little bit, but we talked to the Fat Viking. Yes, I've been talking to more. Yes, that's what his name is, Fat Viking. It's on his Facebook, it's on his Twitter account. But we will be playing that live. And
the massive audio Doctor Who Bad Wolf Bluetooth TARDIS speaker. That's all I got to say. One word. Wow! It looks like it just jumped right off the screen. Here it is in all its Bad Wolf glory. Right here is the on-off switch and the up and down volume. Right here's the speaker. The TARDIS stands about 6 inches from the bottom of the TARDIS all the way up to the top where the light is. Look at the detail. Wow.
Also, you can go to amazon.com/FameTek and get yourself some nice either a Bluetooth speaker that looks like a TARDIS or a Weeping Angel battery charger for your phone. I have a phone charger out there. That's pretty cool out there. We're here with Simon-Fisher Becker, who is be talking about. Did I just say who's be talking about? Is that kind of...
I think you did.
I did. His third book in the series, Let Zygons Be Zygons. And again, if you want to check out his other 2 books, by all means, give the trilogy. My Dalek Has a Puncture. My Dalek Has Another Puncture. And this book, Zygons, Let Zygons Be Zygons. And I want to show everybody the one of the big reasons they should get this book over here. Let me enlarge. Well, just a second. Where is it? Bonga. Yeah, here we go. The real reasons, one of which, because this was an actual shock to me. It was like Simon was going like, "Do you have a good picture of yourself?" I'm like, "No." I don't have a good picture of myself out there. But if you get the book, I am there. In the thank yous. There you go.
Page 69.
Oh, that's the best place to put a page out there.
Yes, it's under a section where I'm thanking people on the way. Because,
I know it's in the
because I absolutely accept, and I don't understand other actors who don't. That I've been very, very lucky in the industry I've chosen to follow, and along the way I've met some exciting people and lovely people who've given me all sorts of opportunities. And you, Christian, invited me to come onto the Traveling TARDIS. Is one of those opportunities, and I do another podcast called the No Name Trivia Show, which is based in Australia, which means I have to do, I have to do it early in the morning. So with you, it's late at night, and with them, it's early in the morning.
I feel so bad.
No, but it's worldwide, and you'd be amazed at how many people that you don't know are actually listening in.
That's true.
Because
we had some I wouldn't say some crazies. I'm not using that word nice. I just some really nice dedicated people who were up with me when we were reviewing live the Flux series. And there were people in the UK and I think one person in Australia. There was like 3 a.m. for Australia, and the UK it was like midnight. I'm just like, you people are nuts. Why are you up with me? But apparently they wanted to hear what I had to say. So
this is a very good show. And you ought to be congratulated.
I know.
And
I couldn't do without the people.
I'm chuffed that you asked me to be part of it. But I have been very lucky. So that's why when earlier on I was saying there's some aspects I have a charmed life. But, there are also still people who just think I'm a fat idiot.
No.
So,
but I'm going to say this. You know what? We are the hardest working people.
Yes.
Just going to say that. Oh, everybody, there you go. And then show that. Yes. So, the thing about it is and we had an episode when we first started, when we introduced you to the show as a member, we had an episode about bullying because that was something that I could just not tolerate anymore out there. Yeah. And it's gotten excessively worse out in not just the WHOniverse, but in geekdom. Whether you like Jodie, whether you're not like Jodie, whether you like a certain story, whether you like Chibnall, whether you're not like Chibnall, it doesn't matter to me because we're all Whovians. We all have our differences, and we should all be able to get together, say our differences, and then after we've had this panel, go next door to the local pub and enjoy a nice little beverage between each other because and James, thank you so much. Love this community as well because that's the important thing is when we can talk to each other and express that there's a commonality between all of us that we love this show no matter what. We just have different approaches or different ideologies behind it. If we can respect each other, I think this is just not only for geekdom, but this will be a better world. And we got to stop the bullying because physically or mentally it just takes a toll on somebody. It does nobody any good. It does nobody. I mean, there've been times where people have asked me, "Is going like, are you ever going to, get controversial and just going to, you should attack that person or something?" Why? They never did anything to me. Why would I want to go out there and attack them? And I've seen, just causes mutual destruction out there, especially in the podcast.
But some people, because I'm often accused of being controversial, whereas I don't really think I am. I may use the odd incorrect word for which I apologise, but there are times I get excited with what we're talking about. But no, I'm not controversial. Politically, nobody knows where I am. There are those who want to call me a communist. There are those who want to call me a fascist, where in reality, I'm just an ordinary person who actually sees good things on the right side of politics and good things on the left side of politics. And I just can't understand why we just can't agree to disagree on certain things, but then just work together. I don't know what it's like in the States, but very often over here, the whoever's in power will not do the correct thing or a right thing because it was suggested by the opposition.
Yeah,
I think that's a mental illness there.
I think it's
there
just
you go. I'm going to be locked up in the tower now.
Well, I think it's so much easier, and it's gotten to the point where it's so much easier to tear down, but it's much harder to build up.
Yes,
it's a lot easier to rip character, rip people apart, and shame the. First of all, here's one thing that I believe in, and I think everybody can to back me up on this. Everybody in the chats, if you agree. I've never shamed anybody into my way of thinking. Never. I've never condemned or put anybody to the point where I've shamed them to the point where, oh, yes, usually that makes them double down. So the whole point of this show when I began it was, let's talk it out. Let's get through it and just have a good time discussing it. And we just lost that. We've just lost that capability over time.
Yes, I on a personal basis, I actually enjoy being in the company of people who I totally disagree with on certain things. But in doing so, I'm talking to them and I'm working out how they come to their viewpoint on something. And then that helps me hone my argument. Just to disagree with someone.
Yeah.
And not understanding, but there we go. La-di-da.
But I think it's to the point where you have to, you may think that people are crazy for their point of view, but still their person and they need to be tolerated. But at some point, there might be some things that conflict with the discussion or the characteristics. But I think at some point you have to respect you're both still human beings on the planet and should respect each other's space. If anything, respect that you're human and you exist out there. And this bullying has got to stop. This bullying crap that has got to stop out there. Tom says, my best friend in the UK told me the postman throws his and any packages in the bin. The world is falling apart, and we keep on trying to be happy. That's a sad ideology that we have to accept that there's bullying and it's just getting out of control. But, I've always come to the concept of, I want to know what that person's thinking before I go out there and start, saying my piece. And can I say my piece without come across as being a jerk? And, it's a tough situation in any discussion when somebody who's got their feet planted mentally on or ideology to try to convince them, my way of thinking. And even if we don't agree, then they start using the slurs and the rhetoric and stuff like that, because it is so much easier to try to rip the character apart than to go, okay, I want to take the time. If you don't want to take the time to respect my thoughts, my ideology, my beliefs, then why should I even give you the time or a day to respond to yours and respect it?
Can I give a little tip?
Absolutely.
A thing I've learned, particularly when it comes to office politics, if you've had a bad day at the office and then maybe the day ended with an argument or whatever, or an accusation or whatever, what I used to find very often is the following day, there'd be 2 or 3 people in the office who would want to continue that argument. So having slept on it, I then pretended I had no idea what they were talking about. And I would say, I'm really sorry, I've got no idea what you're talking about. And they'll say something like, well, the argument yesterday. And I'll say, what argument? What are you talking about? And then I said, I'm really sorry, but I've got to get on with this now. And that used to wind them up terribly, and I'd have a little chuckle. So that made my day. And it really works. It really works. Don't allow people to bully you.
Exactly.
You know, and if people are saying, okay, if they're saying, who are they? And if they say, well, I can't possibly say, then you call them a liar. I said, if you won't tell me who it is, then I assume you're lying. You know, they don't like that either, but it stops the conversation. Yeah.
Speaking of stopping the conversation, we've come to the end of the audio show. Again, for those folks who have joined us, thank you. We're going to continue on for just a little bit more. Simon, if you got to go, I totally understand there. Please make sure, if you want to get your signed copy, FisherBecker.info. You can purchase it also on Amazon, or you can just do a Google search for... Oh, thanks. I like that much better. Thank you. Thank you, Dave.
Also, there's my Facebook page, and they'll know it's my site. There are two false sites out there, but my personal page has a picture of my cat, SGC, on it. And if anybody's interested in my showreel, just go to my IMDb page. I've got a new one up.
And don't forget, again, subscribe to our... Oh, that was dumb of me. Let me try that again. Sorry, I'm still getting over last week. And let me get... Wow, why is this being a jerk?
Oh, what are we looking for?
Okay, there we go. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, of course. Exclusive on our YouTube channel is Simon's. And actually, I put it into the Simon Sci-Fi blog. Simon Says Sci-Fi blog, so you can check it out exclusively on the Legend of the Traveling TARDIS channel here on YouTube. This episode is being uploaded because he's our special guest today. And plus, if you go down to the bottom, you can check out these new amazing channels, including Simon's own page. He's up to about 610 subscribers. Let's get him help out to 1,000. And definitely join us. We're at 1,700. Give us a little love. Don't forget before you leave to subscribe to our YouTube channel. So I want to thank everybody for joining us. Again, we're ending the audio version. We're going to continue on with the video version until we are tired. That's basically about it. If you're listening to the YouTube channel, listening to the podcast on audio, thank you. Don't forget to subscribe to iHeartRadio, sci-fi.radio, wherever you're listening. And please, again, stay safe. Tomorrow, I will be interviewing our friends from Villicon. I'll be talking about that in just a moment in the after party. But this weekend, we will be at Villicon for a second round. Jessica, I believe her husband Harrison, and I will at least be out there. And I believe Mark Muncie will be too. Again, everybody, check out Simon's 3 books. Dalek Has a Puncture, Dalek Has Another Puncture, and Let Zygons Be Zygons. And don't forget to check out Tony's album, What If. Thank you for joining us, everybody. Please stay safe and always become part of the legend. And after party. You know what? We're not even part. We're not with Wizard World anymore. So
I somehow wasn't subscribed to Simon before now, so I fixed that.
There you go. 611.
Now subscribed.
There you go.
Well, thank you very much. I really do have to retire because I've got to be up at 7.
No, that's
and it's now on midnight.
Ooh.
So thank you very much. I'll come on the next panel show when you want me to.
You got it. And
we always want you, Simon.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
But thank you very much for the time. It was a good show. I hope I didn't witter on too much.
No, that's fine. I think we had a lot of discussion. I hope people understand you more, and we'll get those 3 books out there so that they can understand your whole life, and definitely more to come as we progress throughout the year.
And if you enjoyed this today, definitely tell your friends and family so they can come listen to it. And I will have a bonus actually from a couple of years ago that I actually never uploaded that has a lot more detail about these books. So we'll have a bonus.
So if you know anybody that would like a signed copy, just let me know.
Absolutely. I will let people know. FisherBecker.info.
Yeah.
Oh, right. And we got some people just saying, thank you, Simon, Mark.
No, that's
James,
right.
Tom.
But you can always contact me by Facebook or Messenger, I should say.
Thanks. Thank you there, Dan. And Tom says, hashtag what Simon said. Hashtag guru.
I really must go now.
No, go ahead,
On top
Simon.
of everything else, nature is calling. So until
that's
so to the next time. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, let me pull up this.
Oh, look, I'm the host now. So, right, everybody.
There you go.
I'm in the hot seat. Wait, hold on. Let's just, what we can do, because I'm the host now, we're going to go like that. Oh!
Yeah.
No. I'll even be nice and put Christian back where he belongs. Every now and then, Christian regrets the fact that I have access to be able to do things like that.
Killing me. You're killing me, Smalls. You're killing me. Okay, I'm trying to pull it up, but I don't see the main. Why is that? Good night. Seriously, this has been shut it. I told you if I don't have a.
So tomorrow, is it a Who Knew News? What are we doing tomorrow?
It is a Who Knew News. Anybody can join in, but it's going to be just we're going to have the two heads of VillaCon, which is taking place this weekend, the 21st to the 23rd, starting at 4 p.m. on Friday. We can get your tickets online here, and I apologize if I'm reading this because I thought they had the official website, and I don't know why it's not here. This doesn't. I think this is where there's information, but I don't think this is the website. Hang on one second there. Essentially, we're going to be doing one panel, and we're actually testing this out at VillaCon because we're going to bring this question to one of our episodes of The Legend of the Traveling TARDIS: the Doctor, hero or villain? So
that's a good question because when you think about
don't start.
I was gonna say we had that last episode of Flux where it could really fall into that.
And I apologize. Okay,
it's true.
There we go. There is the official website. Who's going to be out there? We got a ton of cosplayers going to be out there, but the big celebrity names: Mary Bostwick, you know him from Spin City and Megaforce, and of course the Rocky Horror Picture Show. We've got two Star Trek people, including Denise Crosby from The Next Generation and Garrett Wang, who I'm hoping will be a guest one day on here. He offered, and then he just got busy. I guess COVID.
I called dibs on that particular panel. Just saying.
Yeah,
Garrett's amazing.
Yeah.
And oh no, he canceled. I apologize. I just found out now from the website. Eric Avari, even though I'm from Stargate, Planet of the Apes, and The Mummy, and apparently he's canceled due to conflict. So, but it looks like the rest will be out there. I don't know who these people are, and I feel bad. Beloved Disney villain, Need to Love, Tab Murphy, and Sinister Prince to Deviant Arts. He has it all. The Art of Breed. Who is these guys? Well, anyway, okay, we're talking about Barry Bostwick, Denise Crosby, and Garrett Wang are going to be out there. The show schedule is ready. I believe we have one panel that's going to be taking place. If I'm not mistaken, I'm going to find it. This is my first time looking at the site. There we go. Okay, it's Saturday, the 22nd at 1. I don't know if you guys can read it. I'll try to highlight it. Oh, it won't let me. The Doctor, hero, villain, or something else. No, that's not what I said. The Doctor, hero, villain, or something else. No, I said hero or villain. Oh, so we know the history is told by the victors, but we have been deceived by the Time Lord victorious. Come join the Legend of the Traveling TARDIS in this fun-filled panel about the favorite time traveler and discuss if the Doctor is truly a hero, as he claims, or she at this point. Because we saw that pocket watch go into the TARDIS. So will we ever see it again out there? Any party antics started already with Dave? Yeah.
And will they continue tomorrow? Who knows?
Who knows? Who knows? So let me stop sharing that because that screen was just getting weird, wacky,
shocking.
I could not make it this past weekend for family reasons to Central Florida Comic Con, but if you had a chance, and I'll show some pictures hopefully in the next episode later on, But Jessica and Harrison were there to cover for the team. Jessica is our resident cosplayer expert for the Legend of the Traveling TARDIS. She comes on, and she also is a cook with Dave. Do some geek cooking out there, so definitely.
We really should do that more often.
I got the same. I if people are interested, I just feel bad because everybody has to get their stuff together. When we have to do a cooking show, they have to get the recipes. We got to get the cameras laid out so everybody sees it. Because we had Melanie and her husband making a cake, and we saw Melanie on her side of things, and it was just like everybody had their own camera thing going. So, and I felt bad because it's like, well, I really don't. I'll make Time Lord Lumpia, I guess. It's such a thing.
It just never ends. So sure,
I'm dead serious. If you've ever tried lumpia, it is food of the gods, and it's the simplest thing. They have lumpia paper. It's a very thin, like breaded roll, and you just essentially take a sliver of meat, season it, roll it up, and throw it. It's kind of like an egg roll, if that's the comparison to it, and you throw it into the deep fryer. But it's thinly made with this thin layer of lumpia paper. I don't know what it's made of. And you just make this meat, and you season it, you put your favorite seasonings on, you throw it, roll it together. Oh,
wow.
And if you get the right sweet and sour sauce, it is just like,
oh, sweet and sour sauce.
Oh, Mark, his chocolate box never ending. That's on Melanie. That's totally on Melanie out there. Tom, you're just never gonna end on that. Oh, Mark, I like his little comment. Never cruel or never be cowardly. And never eat pears. Remember, hate is always foolish and love is always wise. Always try to be nicer and never fail to be kind. 12th Doctor. That's why the channel is amazing. Thank you, Mark. I appreciate that.
That was very sweet. Very lovely.
I'm hoping that will someday resonate throughout the geekdosphere, whatever geekdom that you have, Star Trek, Star Wars, Doctor Who, whatever. I'm hoping the geekdom will just get back to the sanity of just like, hey, we love each other. We love what we do. And that's what I miss about conventions, too, because whatever the passion you have, I love that, because whatever passion you have as a cosplayer and you mingle with other cosplayers that are not of your geekdom, Tom, hush. Nope. That's all you can say. Nope. And I kind of miss that when you go to conventions. God, Tom, what's cashews? is that camaraderie that you could see Captain Kirk and the Fourth Doctor and Captain Maul and Darth Vader playing with a hacky sack or just geeking out or dancing together. It's unlike like a sporting event where there's you got the two sections and people are separated and they're rooting for their team and they're shouting at each other. It's completely different. It's a camaraderie because it's not just saying, hey, I'm against you or going Dave. I love that camaraderie where people get together and they take their passion and their body and soul, whatever it is that they're dressed up into, and they're sharing it with other people as opposed to, going against it. But I like pears with a scoop of cottage cheese and a cherry on top. That actually doesn't sound so bad whatsoever.
Yeah.
Yes, it does. Cottage cheese is good. Not to yuck someone else's yum, but
yeah, as he agrees. He's saying, yeah. He's agreeing. I've never had it, but he's agreeing.
What was that comedian who goes, if cottage cheese goes bad, how can you tell? And I just remember that it was just like, yeah, I just remember, I forgot which comedian it was just like when potato skins was a thing, when potato skins became like this astronomical thing. Somebody came up with the idea of taking potato skins and making that into a meal, throw some cheese and bacon on it. And somebody was joking. It's just like, yeah, I'll get some of those potato skins. And somebody went to, the other table, pulled out their leftovers, handed it over to the other guy and go, there you go. There's your potato skins. Just like, really? I became a fan out there.
So yes, hi.
Hi.
We got off the rails.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. We like off the rails.
Yeah, exactly. Well, get Simon's book. There you go.
Yeah.
All of them.
And get Tony's album. There you go. I really don't know what to say. Please come out this weekend if you're in the Central Florida area. Tickets are on sale now for VillaCon, and we do have one panel, but love geeking out with. I really, if we got a moment, let me go ahead and see if I can bring up some pictures from this past weekend, if I can. Hang on one second. If anyone wants to go ahead and chat, because some of these pictures are really cool.
I'm much more excited for MegaCon, quite frankly. And this is not saying anything else. I'm finally going to make it. It is 95%. I've got my so right now it looks like I'm going to make it to MegaCon, fly from Orlando to the UK. I'll be at the UK Games Expo.
Wow.
And then back to Columbus for Origins Game Fair, then home. So there's going to be all sorts of... I was talking to Simon before. We're going to try and sit down and have a beverage of some sort because he's not that far away from Birmingham. So it'll be it's gonna be a good trip.
Do you have anything arranged for MegaCon, or are you coming with us?
I'm coming with you, is the theory. And I just kind of was in a meeting we've got the return flights all booked up, but it was ridiculous to try and make the flights happen. They doubled in price overnight. So we waited to book those, and we'll see where it goes. And I think I'm flying in. I'm in Birmingham is the weekend of the 4th of June, and I'm flying in earlier at the beginning of that week. I'll be in London for a couple of days, hoping to do a little something with Time Fracture. Fingers crossed on that.
Cool.
And yeah, I know I'm going to be. I can never remember the name of the museum that has a T-Clipper in it. But I'll be going there for a mini event. And I'm still trying to work out details specifically because it's the incoming stuff that's a little out to lunch. But guaranteed it'll be the UK Games Expo, which is that weekend, and then leaving right after because we have to be back for by Wednesday is when we're setting up for Origins in Columbus. So it's immediate turnaround.
I signed up for I signed up for MegaCon. They just asked us to sign up and get panel ideas. The only problem is having panel ideas this far back is something will probably happen, something will change, and then it's like, well, they've already locked in the panels. So a year out, it's not too far. It's only 4 months, but anything can happen in 4 months.
Oh yeah.
Speaking of which, I just threw in a couple pictures out here. So, especially, I want to let you know if you do have a costume for 13, we have a special album in the Legend of the Traveling TARDIS on our Facebook page. It's called No Sir All 13s, and it has all 13s on it. Anybody who's cosplayed 13 and have held the Traveling TARDIS, their picture gets to be in the album out there. She's a gorgeous girl right here. I love the crossover with the 4th and the 13th Doctor out there. And there's a little sonic screwdriver. Another lovely lady who came out there. I wish I got to see these people, but Jessica got to see them out there. Now, I'm trying to find the name of these girls. So if I don't, I apologize. Just take it out. I just hadn't had a chance. But these lovely ladies showed up here as well at the convention.
Aww.
So adorable. So friggin' adorable. And we actually have a section called TARDIS Kids. And I do just want to clarify that, yes, all the kids in TARDIS Kids, their parents have been asked for permission. The mother's name is Ellie. So, let me see here. One is Noelle, and the other one is Jessica. Unfortunately, I don't know which one is which. I wasn't there at the convention. So, Ellie, there's your girls out there. But I just want to know we do have a place for children as well. We do, before we get take the picture of the kids, we always get the parents' permission. So, but we have a section called TARDIS Kids. And any of the children who've had a chance to get a hold of the Traveling TARDIS and pose with it, they get to be on there as well. So, those are just a few of the pictures out there. Yep, rails off. Yep. We got it. Where are we? This is where I need Melanie to kick in. Gallagher, but he said it about yogurt. Oh God, really? Mega cough. Whatever.
I hope not.
Dave, what's the dates are going to be in the UK?
We touched on that.
Oh, you already did.
I
was pulling up.
Yeah, that's actually where we left off. And then yes, that's a great idea, Mark. We'll definitely make that happen. And then we had another cat emoji. And
there we go.
There you go. James, it kind of depends a little bit on where you are. If you're a gaming person, I always try and do shucks, which is the sit down and shut up, or shut up and sit down. I can review guys. They do a giant gaming convention in Vancouver. There's Fan Expo Vancouver, which is affiliated with MegaCon and all the rest of the Fan Expos. Those are the two big ones that I know off the top of my head. I could probably pull up some like furry conventions and anime conventions. And if you feel like coming over to the other side of the Rockies, Calgary Expo is amazing, and I'm almost always there. And the Edmonton Expo is also very, very good, and I'm almost always there. So there's a few options, and I can certainly give you more if that's not enough for you.
I'm going to address
that's interesting because I've been looking at doing like Fan Expo Toronto, and I've been looking at there's a London in Canada around Ontario area, and they have a London.
London, Ontario.
Yeah.
Mark has a question. Talking about the 13th Doctor, should I go see her at London Film and Comic Spring because my niece loves her, and I'm not a big fan? What should I do? I
will answer that because I'm going to answer this based on 11 because I was not a fan of Matt Smith when I actually met him. I did not like him. I did not like his doctor.
Was that humanly possible for you?
I know. Considering how 180 degrees I've turned, but just come from the perspective of going to see somebody who you don't like or you don't like their doctor.
Yeah.
It is just something, in my case, it was magical. Just being able to see a doctor and knowing that they're part of history. In this case with Jodie, she's part of history for being the first female doctor. So I would definitely say, even if you're not a fan, just go for it. You may enjoy yourself more than you actually like. And when time comes that down the road, maybe you'll go back and visit her and as her doctor and then be like, well, you know what? I met her and blah, 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 blah. You have a story to tell.
Well, I'm going to also answer that question, but I'm going to use Dan's response, which I thought was cool. Mark, do it.
That too.
It would mean a lot to your niece, and I was about to say the same thing. Don't just necessarily go for yourself. Go for your niece. And here's my thing to this. When I later on in my life, when I used to go to the Magic Kingdom, I stopped going on the rides, and I would just sit down and just watch people. And it actually entertained me how people were having a good time, and you see the kids light up and everything. So I'm going to bounce off of Mark's answer, which is, do it for your niece. It would mean a lot to her. If it means so much to her, then just do it for her. Be there for her special moment. And I think that will just add to, that will definitely add to the experience out there. If you don't like her, you know what? Just watch your niece's reaction. Just watch her. And see how it comes across out there. And if nothing changes, well, you went, you did it for your niece, move on. And, that's the case. I'm trying to look for. Oh, okay. There was a comment. I know what you're talking about, Tom. I got to tell you, the cost to see Jodie at Comic-Con is outrageous. Because I understand what they were talking about. There have been a few articles out there. On Jodie because she's charging. This is for I did a little research and I found a few friends on my YouTube friends out there did some research and I think it's like $225, but it's for the VIP premiere or something package. It's like the upper end package. So you get to speak with her, you get a photo, you get a dog tag. I've never had a dog tag before, but okay. But if you just want, I think if it's either a picture with her, I think it's just $75 with Jodie. I think you just want a straight up picture. So yeah, as much as I tell people, don't take anything off the headline. Always read the labels inside, or find out. Do a little bit more research out there. For me, $225 for a VIP, I think if he came to the States, that's not going to happen. I'm sorry. That's just not going to happen. I need to pay bills and need to live a life. So that's just a little bit steep for me, especially coming out of COVID world.
Pounds, not dollars. Even worse.
Yeah,
pounds.
225 pounds. So I think converting almost like 260, 270.
A bazillion.
Yeah.
Well,
welcome to my world. Anytime I have to talk to anything U.S.
Yeah, but even with, if you look at other doctors to compare it, I mean, if you look at like the big packages, David Tennant a year before was like $400 was his top. And then I noticed with Fan Expo, some of the things that they've been doing, they've been cutting back. But like for me, I had going to see Matt Smith. This was back in 2014. So right at the end of his reign of being the Doctor, it was $110 to see him for an autograph and $100 for the picture. So you're looking at, that was $210 right there, right out the door. And that was the general. That was not VIP. That was general.
Yeah.
So that was the lowest you could possibly go. So it's, yeah.
And to me, it's just, is it really worth it? I mean, because they're probably going to come back. And that price is going to go down. So if you're patient enough,
it depends. It really does depend.
A good example is Barrowman. Barrowman used to be in the hundreds. Now he's like $30. And I'd rather have the selfie $30 than the nice picture over there, because I think it's more personable when he does a selfie. Not only that, he takes like 10 pictures of a selfie. You only get one picture from the professional. So
yeah, it really does depend. Also the cons too. I mean, if it was a case of she was going to Gallifrey 1, you would have been looking at a much cheaper price than you would be if she was going to, say, Fan Expo. So it really depends on that too. Plus, in the career, I mean, using the Daenerys, the character Daenerys from Game of Thrones, as far as my understanding, was like Amelia was like $500 just for an autograph. And so it really depends on, where they go in their career and where they go in the convention. And
I've certainly I've certainly seen guys who have been going for, $10, $20 in the past who suddenly were up in that, 70, 80 range. It doesn't take much. So it is a gamble whether it's up or down. It's not likely to go really up from there, let's be perfectly honest. But it is it's always a gamble, quote unquote. I've had points where I've gone, oh great, I'm not going to spend money on this particular person because that's $80 Canadian, and then a minor thing changed and I was able to get one of their close co-stars autographs on the same image because I had a picture of the two of them. And I'm like, well, I guess now I'm spending $80 US on that same autograph that I wasn't gonna. So yeah, you just have to make that choice at any given time.
And you got to be practical about your choice, because I mean, like $200. Yeah, that, as you said, it's a car payment. And one of the biggest regrets, for the longest time, because I was very cynical at the time I started, but also, I was watching out for my money. I was waiting for a low price to hit for Stan Lee. And this is when he was doing every convention humanly known to man out there. And I was like, he's going to drop his price one day. And surely enough, he was gone. So Stan never got to touch the TARDIS.
I was actually going to bring up Carrie Fisher, because in my case, she was pretty expensive going to Wizard World Chicago. And I'm like, you know what? When's the next time that I'm going to see her? And I got the autograph, got to meet Gary, her dog. And then, a couple months later, she was gone.
And also it depends upon where you find value, because my other friend of the podcast was saying that for that same amount of money for the VIP, for Jodie, there were 3 other celebrities out there you can get their pictures with for that same price. Colin Baker, Sylvester McCoy, and Bernard Cribbins will be out there. So you can get 3 pictures for practically the same price of the, and you got 2 doctors and you got Wilf. So it depends upon that. Or if like me, around this time of year after the holidays have scrapped you, it's just like, no, just
Yeah.
I'll have
Yeah.
to hold off. I like rent. I like my car.
Nichelle Nichols, it's another convention. You bet I'm going to spend through my nose because we know there's not going to be many more of those.
Right.
So it's
yeah. I got
you never know
on the show. So you really have to look at is it worth it to you?
Yeah.
Can you lose this money? It's kind of like playing lottery. It's just like, okay, can you lose this money and still go on? Because that's basically it. Because essentially, and I got this, which was I got it for a reasonable price. I wish I'd shown this to.
Yeah.
Mr. Dorium Maldovar, better known as Simon-Fisher Becker. I got this. I was going to show him, and he signed it for a very reasonable price. But Simon means a lot to us, and we support him. And anytime he's at a con, I'm like, "Yep, we're getting a picture. You're getting a picture of the Traveling TARDIS, and I'm getting something off your table on the way out there." Mm-hmm. So it really all depends upon where you value the money for what you think you should be taking home with.
Absolutely.
Don't go ape. Don't go crazy. I did that one convention. I'm like, oh, wow, I'll put this on my credit card.
Yeah. I mean, you can use me as an example here, too. As someone who was an anti-Matt Smith person, I've paid for that 110 3 times. 3 times, 3 different conventions. And I did it, and I would do it a 4th time.
She cray. But hey, if you love Matt Smith, yeah, I know. But I know Mackenzie loves Matt Smith, and I love him too. I just he hasn't been in the convention in my area, and
it'll happen. It'll happen.
Well, twice we were supposed to have Eccleston, and twice he can't. But the first time he canceled out, and the second time it was because of airline issues. Oh, thank you, James. Yeah. Oh, yes. I forgot to tell everybody. May 19th will be the 10th year that little piece of metal has been traveling. It started on a Facebook page. And we've been putting out pictures on the Legend of the Traveling TARDIS. So let me go ahead and put the closing stuff in here so people get it. Really? Did I take out the Facebook page? No, I didn't. 56,000 Facebook subscribers and climbing. Facebook.com/the Traveling TARDIS. Of course, you can see on the bottom also. Don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel. But yeah, this year will be the 10th year that TARDIS started traveling. And what started off as just a funny little goofy thing that I came up with an idea of, took it, and if you see the first year pictures, it was like at Home Depot, at Office Max, at 7-Eleven, at Publix. I took a TARDIS and I said, I'm going to take it places where the Doctor hasn't been. And now look where it is now. Good God, this thing has been everywhere and with everyone. So,
all right. I'm going to go fairly quick here.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm going to.
I think we are. Yeah, I was going to say I don't have to go quite yet, but if we're going to wrap it up pretty quick, then yes, I'll definitely hang out for a few more minutes.
No, go ahead. What were you going to say?
I was just saying I'm going to have to leave shortly. So if we're not wrapping it up, but we are. So
we're wrapping up. Yeah, I got dinner. So that's going to happen. So everybody, we'll see you tomorrow when we are doing our live recording with the couple who started VillaCon, and I'll see you this weekend. Mackenzie, Dave, did you have any final words before we go?
We love you all. See you soon.
Stay healthy. Stay safe. Yeah.
Go to my links and subscribe to my YouTube channel too.
TheRatHole.ca and TheRatHole.ca/who if you want more specific stuff on Doctor Who, Mackenzie the Right of Wands, and the Binge Watcher's Guide to Doctor Who, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, and the first one is specifically about the history of the show, and as well as how Jodie got cast. And now I'll be working into more of going to series 12 and 13, and I'm going to be going into a lot of digging into the very classic ages. Gotcha. Which, speaking of, if anybody's listened to it, I'm looking for a copy of Lone Barrow. I know
good luck.
I know it's going to be impossible to find, but I'm just going to throw it out there.
The last time I saw it, Amazon was like $300, and I had a friend who had it for a while for $10, and I was like, I should have just bought it and shoved it on my shelf and left it alone. Now I'm just like, oh my God.
Yeah, I saw a copy, and I don't remember what third party it was. It wasn't on Amazon. It was like $800. I'm like, nope.
No, it's incredible. Because they mentioned it on the Timeless Children and they showed that house and everybody thought it was like the price just went. I'm like, oh,
that's exactly why I want to actually look. That's why I wanted to know a little bit more about it, because I've seen pictures. I'm like, oh yeah, and I know people are asking about that, so that's one of the things I'm digging into. But I also bought Andrew Cartwell's new book too, so I can dig into that as well.
Keith, and I'm doing this from memory because I hadn't read the book in its entirety. I just know it from reading it on sites and stuff. It's called Lung Barrow. It's the Seventh Doctor's, technically his last adventure before he goes off into the TV movie. But it gets a little bit more, and this is where the pavement hits the tire about the Timeless Children. And the Cartmel Master Plan kind of gets into it because we get a little bit more history of the Doctor. And now this is where supposedly the Timeless Children kind of spawned off from.
Yes.
But if you can find it.
Yeah.
For a reasonable price, you're a millionaire.
I can't even find an ebook. That's what I'm looking for, an ebook.
Yeah, when nobody gave a crap about it, it was like, oh.
Yeah, and it went out of print. It was originally, the publisher went out, and that's why the ebook and the book is so hard to find, because the publisher went out.
It's a book by Mark Platt, and let me just, can I show it? Really?
Are you looking for the image, the cover of it?
Kind of.
I've got it coming up.
Oh, you got it coming up.
Yeah, I mean, you can bring it up on Amazon. I'll bring it up.
Yeah,
it's not in stock.
The biggest things to it was there is more. Andrew Cartmel was trying to, with the Seventh Doctor, give a little bit more history of the Doctor, but there's been an argument. Oh, thank you. There's been an argument to where if maybe Chibnall went a little bit too far, because when we interviewed, actually it was me and Mackenzie, who interviewed Andrew Cartmel, we had a discussion with him, and we told him, because ironically, this was around when the Timeless Children came out, and the social media came up and said, oh yeah, let's this is coming from the Cartmel Master Plan. Well, ironically enough, we were about to interview Andrew Cartmel, so guess what? We asked him the question. Was this the inspiration?
All over the place,
right? And we told him about it, and he was kind of like, "Yeah, I think they might have went too far with the Timeless Children, because the idea of the Cartmel Master Plan is we know there's a lot more to the Doctor, but there's a reason why at that time he was called Doctor Who, because that was something." And the best analogy that he mentions, practically quoting him, he's like the Lone Ranger. He comes in, he saves the day, he leaves, and everybody goes, who was that masked man? And we know there's a lot more to the Doctor, but we don't go into it. So, and now we've got philosophers of Doctor, including myself, are going into this mode of like, how does this work with the Timeless Children, which for me, doesn't work. Really doesn't. And the more episodes that I see, like, what was it? When we were watching Christmas, Twice Upon a Time, the 12th Doctor is going up to the first Doctor. Oh, this is the first time that it happens. I'm like, there's so much going in through Doctor Who that it kind of, I don't like using the term as much because I know people are a little bit taken back by it, but it does feel like there is a retcon, as opposed to this is fitting in somewhere. They found something back in the past of the Brain of Morbius, where there was supposed to be these alternate Doctors, and this is where the storyline gets skewed, because there is a Big Finish audio called Vengeance of Morbius, which actually those Doctors are supposed to be Morbius. That was actually confirmed in that. Yeah, it was just one of those little things, like the kiss heard around the Whoniverse or that mention of I'm half human on my mother's side. It was just like we were kind of sweeping it under the carpet, like, no, we don't, we're not talking about this, but this came back to haunt us. So from your perspective, if you appreciate the Timeless Children, it works. If you don't, like myself, you just kind of, okay, let's see where it goes from this point on. Hopefully it'll work for me, but whatever.
Mm-hmm. And the one thing that Andrew Cartmill, I remember he challenged me and said if I could figure out the Timeless Children and his Cartmill theory, that to let him know. And so, well, that's one of the things that I'm taking on that challenge in the book. I will be talking about Timeless Children.
I wish you the best of luck.
Yeah.
I mean, I could see how it works, but again, like a story like Modern Undead, the whole story was wrapped around the remaining regenerations of the Doctor. That story doesn't work now because he was using his remaining regenerations to kill off these aliens who wanted to die, but it was going to cost the Doctor his Time Lording or whatever. He wouldn't be a Time Lord anymore. So there's a lot of stories in the past that kind of throw the Timeless Children into a spin dryer. But like I said, it depends upon your headcanon and it just makes it more confusing. Oh, Mark found it.
Yeah. Oh, he did?
Yep, there it is. There's a link.
I love you, Mark.
Wait a minute. Don't beg of giving the ad. It's probably $300 in there.
Yeah, probably.
No, so I agree with you. I think I found it. Yeah, that's fine. Anyway, I know Dave's got to leave. So, team, thank you so much. Please stay safe out there, and we will have an episode next week if I survive this weekend. If I don't, then you'll know why. But yeah, we have a few episode ideas. You know what? I'll save it for later. Thank you, everybody. Please stay safe out there. And, we'll catch you next time.